Hello and welcome to CGN Live. It's been a while, but this is Taylor of Taylor Talks Comics. Thank you for joining me. We are in my new studio setup, which is a work in progress. That's why all the lighting's messed up. It's very dark in here. The books aren't even entirely on the shelves just yet, but we just moved. And I'll let some people trickle in here. But yes, I am Taylor of Taylor Talks Comics, and this is CGN Live, the weekly show where you get to find out all the great comics and graphic novels that we will have on sale the following Monday. So this will be, the books we talk about today will be on sale on cheapgraphicnovels.com on September 18th. Monday evening, September 18th, will be when all these books will be on sale. Thank you for joining me. If you're here, please say hello. Real quickly, though, while people trickle in, I want to get over some plugs. Make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. We just hit 300 subscribers for this channel, which is awesome. Super stoked about that. And I'm trying to see here. Sorry. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at CheapGN. Same thing for Instagram, also at CheapGN. Trying to get my setup here. We have a weekly newsletter that goes out every Monday afternoon. Make sure you subscribe to that. You can subscribe to that if you go to cheapgraphicnovels.com and scroll down to the bottom of the page and type in your email address. And we do this show weekly. Every week for the last 36 weeks, minus last week. And last week I had some technical difficulties with my internet at my old house. So we just moved last weekend. The previous house that I lived in was like in the middle of nowhere, and our internet options were not great. They were like mom and pop type internet places that I'd never even heard of until I moved there. But now I have super high speed fiber internet, so it shouldn't be an issue in the future. And the stream should look nice. Like I said, the lighting in here is going to get improved once I get the full studio set up in here. This is just the debut, the issue 1 of the studio. So thank you for joining me. Again, please say hello if you're in the chat. I love talking to you guys. Let me know what you've been reading lately, what comics you're excited that are coming out soon. We have 71 books to look at today, as well as or included in that 71 books is like 6 omnibuses and some other cool stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show off those books. Change the setup here to wait, hold on. Wait, no, this one. That's the one. Okay. So this is the front page, or no, this is not the front page. Real quickly, I guess I can get to the front page. This is the front page if you type in cheapgraphicnovels.com into your browser. Up here, you can see the scrolling bar of things that we have. We have DC Comics up to 80% off on sale. Nick and Dent's been restocked. Make sure you visit that if you're wanting some really good deals. And the September pre-order catalog is still live. So be sure to check that out if you want to pre-order those books, which is the best way to ensure you get these books on your shelf. So if you scroll down to the bottom here, you'll see join our newsletter today. And that's where you can type in your email address, hit subscribe, and you can make sure you get that email every week. And you want to do that because we also send out email blasts whenever we have a big sale going on. So like you just saw the 80% off or up to 80% off DC sale. Whenever that sale went live, we sent out an email blast to everyone, and that's on our email list, and let them know the sale's going on. And then also follow us on social media because it's also a good way to make sure that you don't miss out on those things. But for now, I'm going to click on next week's releases. And we're going to hop into the books that we will have on sale. Like I said, September 18th, Monday, September 18th. These go live in the evening, the Monday of the release week for these. And how do I get the other version here? And like I said, you want to follow us on social media because that's where we I don't know. Okay. That's where we post the minute that these go live. Max, the owner of CGN, he sends me a text that says the books are live, and that's when I post on social media that you can order these books. So it's never a set time on Mondays. It's really just dependent on when the books get shipped in, what time the mail comes, basically, and what time that CGN, the guys, Max and the crew over at CGN can unload the books and prep them for shipping. Up first, we have a big title, and this one is one that I want to impress upon anyone that is wanting to pick this up. Do not hesitate and make sure you're there the minute that these go on sale. Another cool way to figure out when a book goes on sale, the second it goes on sale, is to hit this wish list, add to wish list, and you'll get an email instantly when they're able to be ordered. So you won't even have to, you can subscribe to us on our social media accounts. I know there's like a notification option on there. All those options are different ways. But the minute that Max goes on sale, before he can even push send on the text to me to make sure I announce that the books are on sale, you'll get an email, just automatic like that. But this is the Kickstarter set for Irredeemable, the deluxe library editions. And these are oversized hardcovers. People have been getting these in already. People have backed the Kickstarter. But there was a retailer option on the Kickstarter, and Max ordered, I don't know how many. He ordered some. I guess I could text him if people really want to know. But just judging from experience, these are usually limited on how many retailers can order, especially from Boom. So if this is something that you want, if you missed out on the Kickstarter and you want these deluxe hardcovers, you want to be there the minute that these go on sale for CGN. They are 6% off the price, the retail price of $160. So you'll get them for $149.99, which is about $50 a book. It's a great deal. I know one of these is like 1,000-pager, and I think the other two books are 500 to 600 pages. But running anywhere from so 400 to 1,000 pages. Irredeemable is 1,000 pages. So great deal on these. You're still getting them cheaper than the Kickstarter. And there's been no word from Boom on whether or not these will be released in hardcover format through the direct market at a later date. Right now, so far, it hasn't been. So far, they've only done softcover versions. So if you're wanting these in hardcover, this is the route to go. And like I said, make sure you're there the minute these go on sale. That's the Mark Waid, Peter Krause, kind of deconstructionist superhero story. I've only read Irredeemable, but it was fantastic. It has one of the best endings to a comic book I've read in a long time, I will say. And I want to read Incorruptible and Insufferable. I just need to pick them up and do that. Then up next, we have our first of 6 omnibuses coming out next week. 6 omnibuses from Marvel and DC, and this is the first one. This is Phoenix Volume 2. And this first cover here is by Walter Simonson. This will be $89.99 if you order through CGN next week. That'd be 40% off. And this is, it's Phoenix Volume 2. So it's the direct follow-up to Phoenix Volume 1, which is just like a character-centric omnibus line that they've been doing. So the first one had the entire like Dark Phoenix saga and all the build-up to that. This has kind of the fallout of that, as well as some X Factor issues. X Factor 1 and 13 are in here, 35 through 39. Some Excalibur issues, 42 through 50. So it's really focusing, this one is focusing more on the Rachel Summers character, but it perfectly blends for that first volume. So these double dip a lot with a lot of the X-Men omnibuses that have come out. So if you've been a completist that have collected faithfully every X-Men omnibus so far, you probably don't need this. This is great for people that feel daunted by having 20 plus X-Men omnibuses on their shelf, and they're really interested in the Phoenix character. It's a great way to read these in that context of just focusing on the Phoenix character through 2 omnibuses. So that's my little pitch for this one. And that was the Walt Simonson cover. This one is by Art Germ, and this is the standard edition cover. Which, no matter which cover you choose, they will be $89.99 ordering through CGN. Both are 40% off. Again, if you're in chat, say hello. Let me know what you've been reading lately, what you're excited are coming out. Here's the DC Omnibus. This one is Batman Nightfall, Volume 1, the 2023 edition. So this is a reprint of the already previously released Batman Nightfall Omnibus. By my best guess, just judging from all previous DC releases where they've been labeling them like 2023 edition or 2022 edition, the book will be exactly the same as the first edition. A logo might be different here or there. I know on some of like the Vertigo releases, they'll say Black Label now. That's not the case with this one. But regardless, this is the volume 1 of a 3-volume set. And this is the Chuck Dixon plus more and Kelly Jones plus more big event of the 90s for Batman, where Bane was introduced and then broke the back of Batman. And Batman's then forced to pass on the cowl to someone else. And things go awry from there. It is a great story. If like the trilogy of omnibuses you'll read here, it's a great story. It's very much dipped into like the 90s of, DC Comics. But I've read it multiple times all the way through with all the crossovers and whatnot. And I never felt, I think of all the event omnibuses, this is one of the better ones in terms of the tie-ins truly matter. Like when you get into like the Robin issues with Tim Drake Robin. And then you follow like Dick Grayson and as Nightwing and that kind of thing. Like they truly feel like a piece of the puzzle of the story. They're not just like random tie-ins sometimes where they are almost irrelevant to the larger story. So it'll be $89.99. Then we have Maestro. So Peter David had 5 omnibuses released of him writing the Hulk. This is a companion to those 5, a volume 6 ostensibly, but it's just labeled as Hulk Maestro. You have artwork in here by George Perez and some more. It's 40% off the retail price if you order through CGN, so it'll be $74.99. It includes basically all of the Maestro stories written from Peter David, including, I believe, the most recent series, right? Let me see here. Yeah, Maestro 1 through 5, and then Maestro War and Pax 1 through 5. Yeah, those were mini series that came out like last year. So this has Future Imperfect, which is where like the Maestro character has been introduced, and then some of the Captain Marvel issues that Peter David was already writing, some of the Spider-Man 2099 from 2014, that run that he was already writing, and Future Imperfect, and then some current stuff. So it really encompasses, Peter David's writing of this character for 23 years, it looks like. So all in one package. And again, just like I said at the Phoenix Omnibus, it's great to kind of read these in that context of just like just one character and just focusing on that one character rather than reading all the X-Men issues and getting a little piece here and there, or for this case, the Hulk. We have some comments. Thank you for chiming in the chat. 36 episodes. Congratulations. Yes, 36 episodes. And we just hit 300 subscribers, which I believe Sandwichism was the 300th subscriber. So congratulations to you. You'll get a no prize in the mail shortly for that. No, but really 300 subscribers is quite an accomplishment for a channel that really only does live content. YouTube isn't really too friendly in the algorithm to live shows. So I do appreciate that. I'm reading Dragon Ball because it's fire. Yes, I was speaking of Sandwichism off air. I need to get on Dragon Ball. My library didn't have volume 1 though, so I was kind of upset about that. But it's a series that I've never read. I watched the anime back in the day when I was a teenager and absolutely hated it. But I'm willing to give it another chance. And since then, in my adult years, I've really become a fan of Akira Toriyama's other work. I've read a lot of his other manga, like Dr. Slump is one of my favorite comedic comic books ever. but also enjoyed Jocko and Sandland. We had that Akira Toriyama hardcover that came out last year that collected a bunch of his short stories. So I guess the next best thing is to give Dragon Ball a second chance. King Judge 187, thank you for joining us. Hey, currently reading The Good Asian and Razor Blades. Razor Blades, that's the anthology kind of magazine series that came out last year in hardcover. Sorry, I had something on my face. I've been wanting to read that. It's good, a good Spooktober read. We're getting into the Halloween season. And then Good Asian is one that I am waiting on the hardcover to come to my house. But I read the first trade paperback digitally, and I really enjoyed it. Rick Remender, though, is... Wait, no, The Good Asian. Never mind. I'm thinking of Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. The Good Asian's a different series. That's the one I don't have that order, but I do want to read that one. That was also got a deluxe hardcover recently. And I forget the writing team on that one, but it was like a noirish crime story that I want to read. Exactly, it's good so far. Razor Blades, I'm assuming you're speaking of. Yeah, I need to pick that up. And so that was the DM cover by Greg Land, and this is the George Perez standard edition cover. So this is a latter years George Perez cover, which you can tell by the art style. It has some like Jack Kirby energy there on that cover. I like it. But George Perez, obviously, one of the all-time greats. The next omnibus we have is Spider-Verse. This is a restock of... This is already released, and we just have the Olivier Coipel cover, which is the standard edition. Marvel's been doing that. So these restocks for these omnibuses, they've been restocking only the standard edition cover, which is, perfectly fine. They have not been restocking it with the DM cover. So it seems like... I've not heard any official word on this, but it seems like if it's officially reprinted and not just restocked, it's going to get the DM and the standard edition cover. If it's just a restock, it looks like they're just doing standard edition covers. But regardless, this is your next chance to get this omnibus of Spider-Verse / Spider-Geddon, including the entirety of the event that Dan Slott kind of heralded. Get a lot of artwork in here by Giuseppe Camuncoli. This will be $74.99, 40% off the cover price if you order through CGN. And you can see all of the issues that includes, which I'm not going to list off because we have a lot of books to show up. Whoa, wrong button. A lot of books to show off, and I don't want to take up all our time. There we go. Sorry. Boom. We have another DC omnibus. This is Batman and Robin Eternal omnibus. So we had Batman Eternal released a few years ago, which is getting a reprint soon, I believe. They need to continue to do that. Restocking omnibuses? I hope so. Especially once they come out of print real fast. Like, I know Immortal Hulk is already getting a restock. We have that up for pre-order, that restock. Spider-Man 2099, that went out of print real fast. I don't think there's any word on a restock for that yet, but I'm sure that's in the future here. And then what else went out of print rather quickly? Oh, I'm thinking of DC Batman Adventures. That omnibus went out of stock, out of print really fast. So I'm assuming that'll get a restock from DC as well. It'd be kind of silly not to. But this one has this is the Batman and Robin Eternal omnibus, a companion to the Batman Eternal omnibus. You get work in here from James Tynion IV and Scott Snyder. Artwork by Tim Seeley. And it doesn't include what issues it is, but it is only $99.99 cover price. So 40% off, you can get it for $59.99 through CGN. And then the sixth omnibus we have is the Avengers Volume 4 omnibus, which for my money is the best Avengers omnibus we've had released so far, including modern everything. This Volume 4 is amazing. The content that's in here. It's $59.99 if you order through CGN, 40% off. And the reason why I think this is so great is because it includes two major events that are just absolutely awesome, in my opinion. And that's the first one being the Kree Skrull War, which includes a lot of Neil Adams artwork, which is amazing in itself. And then we have the Avengers Defenders War, which is kind of like the first crossover for Marvel. It's always in question whether the first crossover event was Avengers versus Defenders, whether it was the what's the I always forget the name of it. It's a 2-issue run by John Romita Jr.'s early artworks on it. It's like the Olympics influenced event. Oh my gosh. Every time I'm on the stream, I forget. I forget the name of this. I don't know. Dang it. I have the freaking gallery edition of this somewhere too. I don't even know. It's probably around here anyway. Regardless, this is one of the early crossover events is Avengers versus Defenders, and that's all included in here, including the 3 Defenders issues, all 4 Defenders issues, 8 through 11, that encompass that story, and also Daredevil issue 99. But the Avengers issues included are 89 through 119. So that'll only be $59.99. And like I said, in my opinion, that's the best Avengers Omnibus we've had. It seems DC has been better at restocking than Marvel. Yeah, I agree. And I think part of that is because DC puts out less omnibuses. So I think the fact that Marvel puts out so many, it's harder for them to even like stop the presses and restock something or put into the order. Like if an omnibus goes out of print, especially unexpectedly, it's hard for them to kind of stop the schedule and plug one in for a restock real fast. But they do it, and they have recently been trying to do it for the ones that go out of print rather quickly, like the Spider-Geddon, Immortal Hulk. Like I said, Spider-Man 2099, I'm not sure about, but if it's not, I'm sure it's in the works. But DC does it, and they also like sneakily keep them in print. So like I was reading Planetary Omnibus last year for the first time, and I noticed my book was like I have the Planetary Omnibus, the same one that everyone else has if they have the Omnibus format. And I noticed that I have like the 9th printing of the Omnibus, but it's not like we've heard announcements of DC reprinting a Planetary, or even like where it says like, Batman Nightfall 2023 edition. It's not like we've had Planetary 2018 edition, 2019 edition. So it's always been like kind of like under the radar that it's kind of restocking and keep it in print. So DC is better at keeping omnibuses in print, and Marvel's better at putting out more omnibus content, if that makes sense. That's how I've always viewed it. All right, and then we've got Win Over Maestro, Avengers, 7 Deadly Sins manga box set volume 5. So if you're into the 7 Deadly Sins manga by Nakaba Suzuki, this is put out by Kodansha, and it'll be $53.85, 30% off if you order through CGN. And this one includes volumes 29 through 35. So each box set includes about 6 volumes. So a little bit smaller than your typical manga box set that can include like 20 volumes. But they're more affordable too. And you get them at a faster pace. X-Men Sins of Sinister hardcover. So this is going to be an oversized hardcover. This is the Kieran Gillen spearheaded event. You have artwork in here by Lucas Werneck. Be $44.99 if you order through CGN. And this includes the entirety of the Sins of Sinister event, which has Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants 1 through 3, Nightcrawlers 1 through 3, Sins of Sinister Dominion number 1, and Immortal X-Men 1 through 3. They have a Masterworks here. Mighty Thor Volume 22 for $44.99. We have the standard edition cover here. This is the Era of Thor. Let's see what issues here this is. 328 through 336. So we are moving on through Thor at quite a rapid pace here. And then you'll see that we have the DM cover of the the Marvel Masterworks Mighty Thor run is right here. And the only difference there is the DM variants will say volume 348, because this is the 348th Masterworks. And the standard edition cover will just say volume 22, because it's specific to the Thor line of the Masterworks. I'm glad the first or second printing really didn't matter, or don't matter in collected edition, as long as I can get a copy and enjoy it all. Is all. Yeah, for collected purposes, I agree. I have seen people, not even for like, not even like a CGC kind of thing, like a collecting comic book to keep it and hope that it, increases in value years down the line. I've never seen anybody do that with the collected edition, but I have seen people prefer different printings based on like the paper quality, or if the way the story was reprinted or something like that might change. It might be remastered. So I know like the early Marvel omnibuses had like really thick paper quality. Like if you look at the first printing of Amazing Spider-Man by Ditko and Lee omnibus volume 1, like that omnibus, and then you compare it to like the newer printing, they look like two completely different books, but they include the same exact content, but the first printing looks so much thicker than the new printing. So I've seen people do that, but also later printings are good sometimes, because like the Fantastic Four volume 2 omnibus that came out and was reprinted last year and was completely remastered with new files and whatnot. So a later printing for that one is better, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the important thing is that you can get a copy and you can enjoy it. But as far as like rarity and collectibles, I just don't think omnibuses, or most collected editions for that matter, are there are definitely some that go for crazy prices on the secondary market once they're out of print, but it's not really a viable thing to collect. Like you can try to collect and hoard 20, 30 copies of a single issue that's increasing in value because whatever character showing up in whatever movie. But to do the same thing for omnibuses, to try to collect like 20 copies of the same omnibus, hoping it appreciates in value, would be very cumbersome, I think, with shelf space. So yeah, I agree. It's definitely the format for readers first, collectors second, which I fall in line with. I just want to read the good stories. Modern X-Men is all bad. Don't spend money on it. Okay, low hit coming in with the hot takes. But it's changing soon, right? We're getting a new direction, a new team for the X-Men coming out of the Krakoa era. Up next, we have the Marvel Studios Thor: Love and Thunder: The Art of the Movie hardcover for $35.99. These are like the landscape format, behind the scenes movie books that they come out with for all the MCU movies and TV shows. They include a lot of like storyboards and concept artwork and stuff like that. So that'll be there. Blade Runner Origins volume 1 through 3 box set. This is from Titan Comics, and these have been previously released by themselves, each volume, but this is where you can get them all in one box set. I don't know. I think the trade paperbacks, I can't guarantee that. I can look it up if someone really wants me to, but I think the trade paperbacks, but that'll be $34.99. Hey, Coley, thank you for joining us. Pre-order for Where the Body Was by Brubaker available yet? Man, I love that cover. Not yet. Where the Body Was will probably be in either the October or November pre-order catalog. For the next Brubaker and Phillips graphic novel, the follow-up to what was the last one called? Night something? What was it? Collier, the Brubaker expert. What was it? I haven't read it yet. Night Fever. Did I beat you to it? Yes, I beat you to it. Ha! You can't type faster than I can look up things. Night Fever was the last one that came out. Although I just typed it in. But this is a follow-up, and it's called Where the Body Was. Thank you. And yeah, that'll be for pre-order in a couple months. Night Fever, but this is completely different story and characters. Yeah, just like it's a graphic novel follow-up to it. It's like the next Brubaker and Phillips joint, if you will, like like the Spike Lee joints. That team's next story, which I kind of like that they're doing the graphic novel format. It's very European of them. It's like the European album format that comics do, which is. Do I have it? No. I was gonna say I have all but one of the Jeff Darrow European album like books. He's definitely inspired by the European album format where he just collected all in one kind of oversized album format. I just got my new Shaolin Cowboy in the other day, and I'm missing one volume of Shaolin Cowboy, and then I'll have all of the Jeff Darrow books in that format, which I like. I have to read Reckless stuff too. Oh, you do? Reckless is my favorite Brubaker Phillips series that I've read, which I've not read everything. I've not read everything from Brubaker and Phillips, but Reckless is definitely my favorite that I've read so far. And I hope they revisit that character. Like I could read like 34 volumes of Reckless. I just want them to keep putting it out in that format. I love that they did that with like just these slim one and done kind of hardcovers that are kind of like harken back to the dime paperback novel, crime novel days, which is like what inspired that format. I hope they revisit it. Mother Nature, Volume 1, hardcover. This is the direct market edition by Titan Comics. This is the series that Jamie Lee Curtis wrote with Russell Goodman. Carl Stevens is on artwork. $27.99. It's been heralded as the first comic book Jamie Lee Curtis ever wrote, which they keep saying the first, so I'm assuming that she plans to write more. But this is only volume 1, so maybe she's got more in the works. Guardians of the Galaxy Modern Era Epic Collection. Somebody's got to do it. This is the first volume of the Modern Era Epic Collections for Guardians of the Galaxy, and definitely one that you want to pick up if you are a big fan of the movies, because this is the run that directly inspired the movies. As you can see on the cover there, you've got Star-Lord, Drax, Rocket Raccoon. Trying to see who else is on the cover, but it's the same lineup and team that. Sorry for that. That's part of the studio. I've got to fix all the sounds and stuff that come up. But it is the lineup in the team that inspired the film series by James Gunn. So if you're wanting to read Guardians of the Galaxy that it is more closely in line with what you saw on the screen, this is the way to go. And these are the Modern Era epics. So they're going to collect everything you need to know, except for I was told that this does not include the Annihilation series, which is kind of interesting that they left that out. But it does include Annihilation Conquest Star-Lord 1 through 4 and Guardians of the Galaxy 1 through 12. Be $26.99. Yeah, there's 5 Reckless so far, 5 Reckless hardcovers. Abden Landing, goodness, my first exposure to the team. Read it way before the movie came out. Yeah, it's also got Keith Giffen working there too. Keith Giffen, who kind of kickstarted that modern Marvel cosmic saga. Keith Giffen's. I think the more comics I read throughout the years, I've come to the revelation in recent years that Keith Giffen is quickly climbing up. He might be in my top 5 favorite comic book writers of all time. He's just, every time I encounter him, that series that I read jumps up the list. So Keith Giffen's pretty awesome. And then we have an epic collection from the classic line. This is Amazing Spider-Man Round Robin. This is a new printing, $26.99 for this one. And includes Amazing Spider-Man 351 through 360, as well as the 25th annual and a few other issues. This is a reprint, and I always want to impress upon people that reprints for epic collections especially get really small print runs. So if you missed out on this the first time and this is a Amazing Spider-Man epic that you need to add to your collection, I would order this like day one. $26.99 for that one if you order through CGN. JLI Rules, absolutely. That's one of the big series that I read for the first time last year. And it's just like, man, Keith Giffen's so good. He just writes such entertaining comics. Al Capone hardcover. This is by Black Panel Press. Swan Morali is the writer. The artist is P.F. Radice. It would be $23.99 for this graphic novel. And it looks to be a graphic biography of Al Capone. I like the cover too. I'm assuming that that's very thematic of the story because it's showing like the light and dark of his face, and the scarred side of his face, the scar face, is in the darkness, and the light side looks a little bit more happier and hopeful, maybe. So I wonder if that biography really. I wonder if that's a theme that comes up in the biography a lot. Is like the light and dark side of Al Capone. Really cool artistic cover there. My Picture Diary hardcover from Drawn and Quarterly. Fujiwara Maki is the writer and artist of this. I believe it's a manga. And it's a picture diary about daily life with her son and husband. The legendary manga author Sugi Haru. Oh. So this is Fujiwara Maki. She was married to Sugi Yoshiharu, which Drawn and Quarterly has reprinted a lot of his manga. That's interesting. Drawn in a simple, personable style, covering the same years fictionalized in Sugi's final masterpiece, The Man Without Talent. Wow, that's interesting. So you can read The Man Without Talent to get Sugi Yoshihara's perspective on the same events, and then read My Picture Diary by Fujiwara Maki and get like her perspective, being in the same time period. That's really interesting. That'll be $23.96. Robo Hunter, Planet of the Robots trade paperback. This is by Rebellion 2000 AD. John Wagner and Ian Gibson are the creative team on this. John Wagner, one of the co-creators of Judge Dredd, and Ian Gibson, one of the co-creators of Halo Jones with Alan Moore. So quite the team on here. Looks like it's post-apocalyptic robot hunting, which sounds amazing. It was a 2000 AD strip, and this is in full color. I love that 2000 AD's really been pumping out the catalog because they were such a deep catalog of different stories that they put out. I mean, it's a weekly comic that came out 2000 AD that had all these stories in it, like Future Shocks and Robo Hunter, Judge Dredd, obviously. Halo Jones was in there. So it's cool that they're compiling them all into collections like this. They've really been pumping these out over the last 2 years. Legends of the Pierced Veil, The Mask of Fudo hardcover. This is a manga? I think it's a manga. No, it's not. Never mind. I digress. It's a European comic from Humanoids. Saverio Tenuta is the writer and artist of this. Totally not a manga. I remember this now. It's a series. There's a series of these hardcovers, and it's just I think it does take place in Japan, which may be where I was confused. But it's done by a European artist. Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck in Les Miserables and War and Peace hardcover. So this is from Fantagraphics. Giovanni Carpi is the writer and artist. $22.49 for this. And so it's in the tradition of their Mickey's Christmas Carol and Goofy's Three Musketeers. This is Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge redoing Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace, not to be confused with War, What Is It Good For? Seinfeld reference for any Seinfeld fans. And also it includes Les Miserables, the adaptation of that, including the duck characters. World of Borderlands hardcover. This is is this an art book? Let me see. Yes. Art and trivia relating to the guns, vehicles, ships, companies, and adventurers of the world-spanning universe of the video game. So it'll be $20.99. Murder on the Orient Express graphic novel. This is a graphic novel adaptation of the Agatha Christie story. William Morrow is the publisher here. And Bob Al Green is the person adapting it and illustrating it. So it's experience Agatha Christie's masterpiece as you've never seen it before. This brand new graphic novel adaptation. Tales of Orishas. Sorry, I probably butchered that. Abrams Comic Arts is putting this one out. Hugo Canuto is the artist and writer on this hardcover. In ancient times, when heaven and earth were united as two halves of a gourd, deities and heroes walked among men. They fought battles with fury and taught the ways of the ash, the energy of creation, land, iron, and fire. This is called Durkle. Not really. It's Dracula, but they left out all the vowels, and there's like a hashtag in front of it. But this is getting a lot of hype from a lot of manga fans. This is put out by Viz Media. Shinichi Sakamoto is the mangaka doing it. And this is just volume 1 of the hardcover for Dracula Midnight Children. And it's supposed to be a really good horror manga that people have been wanting in print for a long time. You get the first volume here for $18.74 if you order through CGN. Blue Book, 1961 trade paperback, volume 1. This is the James Tynion and Michael Avon Oeming series, which is a great team up. I like James Tynion's work, and Michael Avon Oeming of Powers fame is the artist on this. I know this was previously published through Substack. It was one of the big Substack books that James Tynion did. This includes the first 5 issues, and it's put out by Dark Horse Comics. Get it for $17.49. Love Kills, hardcover by Danilo Beyruth. This is Titan Comics for $17.49 for this one. Written and illustrated by Danilo Beyruth. That's the artist on Ancient Enemies, which is the Frank Miller Presents series with Dan Didio. A lone female vampire, Helena, stumbles into an alliance with Marcus, an unwitting human, when she's attacked by a rival coven on the streets of Sao Paulo. So Love Kills looks like a vampire story. Creepy Archives Volume 2. I'm so happy for this. I thought Eerie was supposed to come out before Creepy 2. I thought they were alternating, like Creepy 1 month, Eerie the next month, and then Creepy. But I think the order got messed up somehow. Eerie is still on the docket to come out, I think, in October, so next month. But this is such a great collection, and I think one of the best bangs for your buck collected editions coming out right now. So Dark Horse is reprinting all of the Creepy and Eerie archives, but in trade paperback. These were all previously released in hardcover, but these are the Creepy and Eerie magazines that came out back in the 70s that were an answer to the EC Comics, horror comics being like taken off the comic book racks. So the Warren Publishing put out Creepy, Eerie, and Vampirella in magazine format on the magazine rack because it can get by the Comics Code Authority. They wouldn't have to put the Comics Code Authority on that. It's on the magazine rack for whatever reason that made a difference to parents and Frederick Wortham that all started the hysteria around EC Comics and whatnot. But anyways, these are magazine format. These are magazines, but they kept the reprint in magazine format. So these are trade paperbacks, but they're like taller and wider than your typical trade paperback. I wish I had my copy of volume 1 handy, but I'm still unpacking. But you get 5 issues of Creepy magazine, which were I think 40 to 60 pages each. And you're getting them for $17.49 if you order through CGN for $17. You're getting about 200 pages of awesome horror comics. And you look at the artwork on this. You got Archie Goodwin, Frank Frazetta, Alex Toth, Gray Morrow, Reed Crandall, John Severin. In this particular volume, you get a couple adaptations of Edgar Allan Poe stories. But yeah, so Creepy is coming out. The first Eerie volume 1 is coming out next month, and they're coming out like about once a month, which is awesome too. It's kind of like having a subscription to a magazine of sorts. Every month you get a new volume and you get to read them. And perfect time for Spooktober. So pick that up. Asterix Omnibus Volume 10 hardcover for $17.24. The Eightfold Path graphic novel for $15.19. Red Sonja, Immortal Red Sonja Volume 1 trade paperback will be $14.99. Let me see who's on. This is the new Dane Abnett series with Alessandro Miracolo as the artist on this one. And this includes the first 5 issues of that series. Dane Abnett's kind of returned to comics. Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, Volume 1 hardcover for $14.99. Here's a big one. This has been a really popular series. Batman, Superman, World's Finest, Volume 2, standard edition, or standard size hardcover. This is the Mark Waid, Dan Morris series that's beginning to get so much hype that now that Mark Waid's eventually going to, or not eventually, sorry, he's already started, almost have his own little pocket universe in DC, because there's going to be some spin-off titles and whatnot. I think the Captain Marvel's Shazam series that he was doing ties into this little universe he's working with. But this includes World's Finest 6 through 10 of this series. Reddit, really good Red Sonja, rules. Well, you just said you liked Abnett and Lanning, so Dane Abnett writing Red Sonja, one of your favorite characters, sounds like it was perfectly made for you. Slaughterhouse 5, Kurt Vonnegut's famous comic book being adapted, famous novel being adapted into a comic book, graphic novel by Ryan North and Albert Montes. This was previously released as a hardcover. This looks to be the new paperback edition, $14.99 for this. If you have wanted to read Slaughterhouse 5, or you want to read a graphic novel adaptation of it, pick that up. Know Your Station trade paperback. This is put out by Boom Entertainment. Sarah Gailey and Liana Congas are the creative team. $14.99 for this one. It looks to be one and done. But that's by Boom Studios. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Armageddon Game Alliance trade paperback by Eric Burnham and Roy Mercado. $13.99 for this, and includes issues 1 through 6. Armageddon Game was the most recent big event that was happening in the IDW TMNT series. Last Barbarians Volume 1. $13.99 for this one. Is put out by Image Comics. Brian Haberlin is the writer and artist on this. It includes Last Barbarians 1 through 5. If you see anything you want me to stop and talk about or anything, let me know in the chat. I'm trying to kind of coast through these last bit here since we have 71 books to go over. Witcher Volume 7, The Ballad of Two Wolves, $13.99. So it's a comic book adaptation series. Star Wars, The High Republic Adventures, The Nameless Terror. So this is the Dark Horse series. So Marvel has kind of farmed out Star Wars all ages comics to Dark Horse. So that's what this is. It's a newer series, and it's $13.99 for that. Oh, making it to intimate with the dark room. Oh, making it intimate with the dark room. I see what you're doing. No, it's just my new studio, and I've got to work on the lighting and whatnot. By work on, I mean do something with the lighting, because right now all I have is the overhead lights in this room. I need to actually make some studio lights to make it better. My pal Neil was a 300 CGN subscriber. Yes, we talked about that a bit ago, and he was in the chat actually. Thank you so much to him and all the 300 subscribers that we have. I appreciate all of you. Ayanu, Child of Wonder, Volume 3, trade paperback for $13.99 by Dark Horse Comics. This is Volume 3 and includes, it doesn't say, but it's soon to be an animated series from HBO Max, Cartoon Network, and Lion Forge Animation. Here's my book of the week. My Taylor Talks Comics pick of the week right here. Blood Force Trauma by Jake Smith and Hiram Corbett. Blood Force Trauma was a Kickstarter series. Jake Smith is an amazing cartoonist. I feel like he should be such a massive name in comics right now. He recently he's on the new Godzilla series for what is that, IDW, and his artwork's amazing. I can't talk enough about how much I love his artwork. I know Low Hit, you read the Godzilla issue, and you liked it as well. But I've been following Jake Smith's work since Blood Force Trauma #1 was kickstarted, and now they're being released in trade paperbacks through Dark Horse Comics, and this includes the first 4 issues, I believe. It doesn't say, but I think it's the first 4 issues, which they've already done Kickstarters through issue 7. So I think they'd probably be gearing up for another trade paperback coming out next year. I think it's the first 4 issues. Maybe it's 6. I don't know. I think I had to look this up whenever this is up for pre-order. But if you're looking for a fun comic with awesome, like colorful, like bombastic artwork, pick this up and try it out. It's only $13.99 if you order through us. I really do think Jake Smith is like gearing up to be a superstar in the industry. He's a young guy. This was like his first major series. He's had a couple other ones that I have in trade paperback, which I don't have handy right now. But I think that him being on Godzilla is a first step into the mainstream, kind of picking up and realizing how talented this guy is as an artist. So if you want to be kind of on the ground floor of a up and coming cartoonist, I'm putting my stamp on Jake Smith and telling you that he will be a superstar. But Blood Force Trauma, $13.99. Taylor Talks Comics pick of the week. EC Archives, Two Fisted Tales, Volume 1, trade paperback, $13.99. So just the same, Dark Horse, how they're doing the Creepy Eerie Archives, reprinting those in trade paperback. The EC Archives are also being reprinted in trade paperback from Dark Horse, and they're also magazine size. So this is, again, a huge, great deal, a bang for your buck here at $13.99 for this. And you're getting, what issues are presented in here? The first 6 complete issues. So 6 issues of Two Fisted Tales, which was a comic book. So I think it was only 24 pages, but you're getting 6 issues in here. And these were the war comics done by Harvey Kurtzman. He wrote them and did all the breakdowns for them. And then they had artists on here like Wally Wood, Johnny Craig, Jack Davis, Al Feldstein, John Severin, Will Elder, Dave Berg, that drew over the top of his breakdowns. I've read a lot of war comics in my time. I love war comics. These are the best war comics ever released in history. They hold up today. I think if anyone was to read these today that loves war comics, you'll get a major kick, a major experience out of them. I don't want to say kick because that sounds like it's fun. These are very harrowing, like horror tales of war. Harvey Kurtzman in EC Comics they did not shy away from showing the ugly sides of war, where truly in war, there are no victors. I think a lot of the time in the same time period that these were being released, you had like Marvel and DC, or Timely, I guess it wasn't Marvel yet, releasing their own versions of war comics, which are more kind of like patriotic, like "Go America, this is what we have to do" kind of thing. We're the ultimate heroes of the world kind of thing. These were not that. Harvey Kurtzman was definitely a great writer at showing the realism of war. And I can't impress upon him enough. If you want good war comics, to pick this up. This is volume 1. It'll be out next week for $13.99. 6 issues for $13.99. You can't. It's such a great deal, and it's oversized. It's not your typical trade paperback. Zilla War for Humanity. Yes, Godzilla War for Humanity was the Jake Smith series that's starting. I'm waiting for it to be collected. I think. I don't know. I want to pick up. Jake Smith he's up there with Nick Cagnetti, who did Pink Lemonade, that I love. I think those two cartoonists are kind of like I always look in music or comics. I always like to look at the up and coming underground cartoonists that are going to be mainstream, or musicians or whatever, music and stuff. I always like to get on the ground floor of people before they hit the mainstream. And then I still follow them. I'm not one of those weirdo punkers that's like, oh, when you hit mainstream, you sell out. I want to see them succeed. And Nick Cagnetti for Pink Lemonade and Jake Smith for Blood Force Trauma are the two that I would implore people to pick up and try. So I think those are two cartoonists that will be superstars in the comics industry in short time. Earth Divers, Kill Columbus. This is by Stephen Graham Jones and David Gianfelice. That cover, which I think was a cover for the first issue of Earth Divers, is amazing. I love that cover. It's very design oriented. That'll be $12.59 for that one. Blade Runner 2039 Volume 1 Love trade paperback, $12.59 for this. Put out by Titan Comics. Mike Johnson and Andres Giulianato are the creative team on this. Includes the first 4 issues. Batman One Dark Knight. This is Jock doing the writing and artwork on this Black Label series. $11.99. And it includes all 3 issues. This was previously released as a hardcover. Now it's getting a trade paperback treatment. And you get to see Jock's interpretation of Batman. Batman The Audio Adventures trade paperback Volume 1. No, it doesn't say Volume 1. Okay. This will be $11.99 and includes the Audio Adventures 1 through 7 plus Batman The Audio Adventures Special number 1. Don't touch that dial. Picking right up right after the first season finale of the award-winning podcast, Batman The Audio Adventures continues in this new 7-issue miniseries. So it's comic book adaptations of an audio adventures. Torrent Volume 1. Mark Guggenheim and Justin Greenwood are the team on this one. Image Comics is the publisher. $11.99 for this. It includes the first 5 issues. Let me see. Crackerjack, the world's most happy-go-lucky hero, until tragedy forces her to cross the line from hero to vigilante, setting off a never-ending battle that pits her against the world's most vile criminals, the Praetorians. It's the greatest heroes. Torrent. And now we're on page 2. Thank you guys for sticking around. I appreciate it. Almighty, trade paperback by Edward LaRoche is the writer and artist on this. This is put up by Image Comics. Image and Dark Horse have been both putting out these graphic novels lately that are like, that are done with the same writer and artist, like they're creator-owned series, I guess. And this, the cover there looks like a European album, which I like. But the year is 2098 in a third world America ravaged by economic collapse, environmental disaster, and internal conflict. Dell, a young volunteer working triage at a field hospital, is abducted by the ruthless motorcycle gang. Her only hope is Fail, an ex-military private contractor hired to find and bring her home. Almighty is a white-knuckle thrill ride that will have fans of the genre begging for more. Includes 5 issues. Oh, I was going to say Phoenix Omnibus. That was earlier. Ice Cream Man Volume 9, heavy narration trade paperback. So the long ongoing series of Ice Cream Man, which is like the horror anthology with Ice Cream Man as the horror host / sometimes character. This is by W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo on artwork, and I think Chris O'Halloran is the colorist. $11.89 for this one, and includes Ice Cream Man 33 through 36. Asterix Volume 10 softcover omnibus. So if you just want the softcover version of the aforementioned omnibus hardcover, this is the $11.24 for that. Behold Behemoth trade paperback, $11.24. Boom Entertainment. Tate Bromble is the writer on this, and Nick Robles is the artist. Tate Bromble, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Bromble is the writer and co-writer on a lot of the Black Hammer spinoffs with Jeff Lemire, and also wrote House of Slaughter. It looks like so. This is his first original series that Tate came up with on his own, I guess. Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. This is by Marvel Comics. Danny Lohr and Karen Darbo are the creative team. $10.79 for this one. And includes all 5 issues and material from Free Comic Book Day. So Brielle Brooks, the Daughter of Blade. That cover looks awesome. Looks kind of manga inspired. Star Wars Bounty Hunters, Volume 6, Bedlam on Bastine, trade paperback. $10.79 for that one. Kimono Jian, Volume 7. For that manga, it'll be $10.49. Penelope, the Cookie King Catastrophe. This looks awesome. $10.49 for that one. Looks like to be a kid's graphic novel from Oni Press. Kayla Coombs and H.F. Brownfield are the creative team on that. Black Cloak Volume 1 trade paperback. This is by Image Comics. Kelly Thompson is the writer, and Meredith McLaren is the artist. Includes Black Cloak 1 through 6. Immonen Wanderer Part 3 trade paperback, Volume 4. Roll Over and Die Volume 4 graphic novel. That'll be $9.74. Magica Swordsman and Summoner Volume 16 for $9.74. Got a lot of manga coming out next week. Headhunted to Another World Volume 5 graphic novel, $9.74. Call to Adventure Defeating Dungeons with Skill Aboard Volume 6 graphic novel, $9.74. Sailor Moon Naoko Takeuchi Collection Volume 4, $9.74. Archie's Christmas Wonderland, $9.74 for this one. I'm assuming this is probably digest size, like Archie comics typically are in these collections. But this is a good if you're looking for a Christmas gift, maybe for somebody, or you're wanting to prepare for your Christmas comic book readathon. You get this it's a classic collection of holly jolly stories. Get ready for even more ho-ho hijinks. Archie, Betty, Veronica, Jughead, and the rest of the gang from Riverdale are known around the world for their festive adventures and merry misadventures. No, that's not right. Tiger Division trade paperback. Marvel Comics, Emily Kim and Chris Lee is on this for $9.59 for this, and it includes Tiger Division 1 through 5. Shaman King Flowers, Volume 4 graphic novel, $8.24 for that. Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries, Volume 3 trade paperback for $7.79. Old Dog, Volume 1, Redact 1. This is the Declan Shelby writer, and he's a writer and artist on this. So it's Declan Shelby. I think it's the first series that he's writing, if I remember correctly. But includes all 6 issues. All the first 6 issues, I'm sorry. Because it is only Volume 1. Marvelverse. This is where we're going to close out on. Marvelverse. Monica Rambeau, Photon. Trade paperback, $6.59. So these Marvelverse books they're digest size, and they're the best way for people to pick up the books and get to know the characters, typically before they are on a MCU movie or TV show. Monica Rambeau is obviously playing a big role in the Marvels movie coming out November 10th, I believe, this year. So if you have someone in your life that wants to get to know the Monica Rambeau character, maybe you're trying to get them into comics that really love the Marvels characters from those movies, pick this up for them and let them know that they can read it and get their understanding from that. All right, before I close out the show with all my plugs, give you one last opportunity to ask any questions, make any comments. I'll do my plugs and then I'll address anything at the end. Follow us on Twitter at CheapGN, Instagram at CheapGN. Look us up on Facebook at Cheap Graphic Novels. And subscribe to the newsletter. Go to cheapgraphicnovels.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. Bottom right there, you can subscribe to the weekly email. Make sure that you are subscribed and give a thumbs up to this YouTube channel. Thumbs up to this video. Subscribe to this channel. We just hit 300 subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone that is a subscriber already. Share this with your friends. Let them know that we do weekly content that prepare you for your weekly comic book buying in the collected editions market. And those are usually every Thursday at noon. It's the time that CGN Live happens. No comments or questions at the end here, so I will close out. Thank you guys for watching. Read more comics, buy more comics. We all love comics. Have a great day. See you later.